Okay, in this little movie we're looking at Adobe After Effects, and very specifically I'm going to show you how to add a shatter glass effect. So we're going to start off by making a new composition. Now I'm going to name my composition, so I'm going to call this one Shatter Glass. The other things you need to check out are, I'm just going to use this presets HDTV 1080. So I want my aspect ratio, my pixels to be square. Resolution is going to be full. And then you need to just make sure that the duration of the movie is set here. So if you only want this to be a few seconds long, make sure you change this. It will default to about 30 seconds. I've taken this down to about 6 seconds because I just want it to be a snappy little thing. So once I've got that set up, I just click OK. Then we say all these windows, which looks really confusing, but it isn't really. We've just got a timeline down here and we've got our viewer window here. I'm going to start off by bringing in some visuals, so some images. So I'm going to go to File and choose Import. I'm going to import one file at a time. I'm going to start off with this image here. So I'm going to open that. And then I'm just going to pull this down onto my timeline. Okay, you can just dump it on the viewer window if you want to, but I actually prefer to just pop it on the timeline like that. Now, for the first couple of seconds, I don't want anything at all to happen to this image. So you can see this is the image on the timeline. So at the moment, it's appearing for the full 6 seconds. Now you'll notice that the way this is divided up, it says things like 3 and then F, and then it's got 0, 5, F. It's talking about frames there. So we've got this set up to around 30 frames per second. So every time you get to about the 30 mark, it'll put a second in, just so you know how we're measuring here. So I'm just going to drag this back from this end, and I'm going to drag it back to about the 2 second mark. So for 2 seconds, this image is going to appear on screen exactly as it is. Nothing at all is going to happen to it. Then I'm going to move my, my little timeline, current time indicator marker here to the 2 second mark. And I'm going to bring that image in again. Again, I'm dropping it on the timeline. So if we were just going to watch this now, it just looked like one continuous image on the screen for 6 seconds. But I'm just going to move my, my marker in to about here, and you'll notice that this is selected. It's slightly lighter than the one above. And I'm going to add an effect to this. So if I have a look over here, you'll see I've got my all sorts of things. I've got effects and presets up here, and I'm looking for a simulation. So I'm going to simulate Shatter. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to dump it on my image. You can dump it here if you prefer, or you can dump it directly on here, and it gives you a wireframe of how that effect is going to look at that particular point in time. I could move it down a little bit further. There we go. So I could then change this from wireframe and forces over here to rendered. So that's what that's going to look like at that point. And I can also change the shape. At the moment it's showing me my shape as bricks, and I'm going to change this to glass. And then I'm going to change some things about this. If I run this back, you can see that the pieces of glass are quite big. Okay, so I might want them to be a little bit smaller. I don't know how you might want this to look, but I can change my repetitions. So I could make this very small. So I could add 40 repetitions, and I can also change the extrusion depth because it's a bit thick at the moment. So I'm going to change this down to 0.1, and then I'm going to add a radius. Now you can see that this effect, if I just run it forwards kind of leaves a little bit of a hole, so we're kind of smashing out a piece of the glass and we're leaving some of the image behind. That's fine if that's what you're after, but I want to get rid of the whole image so it reveals an image behind. So for me, this is going to have to change to 1, because 1 is essentially the entire image. Then we're going to have to change the physics on this. So I'm going to change gravity. Basically what this will do is it will speed the effect up. So I'm going to take this up to about 10, like so. And then we can see how this looks. All right, so now my issue at the moment is it's going to black behind. So I'm going to bring in another image. So I'm going to go to File and choose Import and File. And I'm going to bring in this image. And I'm going to pop this underneath there like that. Okay. And then I just need to preview. Have I got my preview open? Oh yeah, preview at the bottom there. And just run this through and see how it looks. And there it goes. Now the first time it runs through, it'll be slow because it has to kind of render that out a little bit. The second time you'll see it'll go a bit quicker and it'll be true to time. There we go. Boosh. Did I just say boosh? Sorry. There we go. So that's it. That's essentially all there is to it. All you need to do then is render it out as a little movie. And the best way to do that is go to File and choose Export. Now, I don't know if it's just an issue for me, but I found that adding to the render queue within After Effects doesn't always give me the effect that I wanted. And I've had a few issues with QuickTime movies not being recognised by the QuickTime player. So I found that using Adobe Media Encoder is a better way to go. So you open up Adobe Media Encoder, it'll take a few moments, and then just render out from there. Very straightforward. And that's it.